If you're struggling to lose that stubborn belly fat, chances are you're making at least one critical mistake. But after coaching hundreds of guys, I found 8 game-changing strategies that actually work. And if you even skip one of them, your gut's gonna stick around. Stick with me, and I'm gonna show you exactly what to do step by step, so let's jump into it. All right, by far, the most important thing you need to do if you're a guy trying to lose his gut is you have to focus on time management. I remember Greg. So he approached me in the summertime and he was struggling a little bit. So he went to me basically saying like, sometimes I work out, sometimes I eat clean, sometimes I feel kind of motivated, but sometimes I wouldn't. And because of that, he saw a little bit of results, but not what he was looking for. And he really thought the issue was more just like, okay, the macros and the workouts, which obviously there's a factor to it for sure. But what it came down to and what we really pinpointed was, and this is for most men also, it came down to poor time management. So because his time management wasn't good, and I'll tell you how to really master that in just 1 minute, because his time management wasn't good, what happens is it led to a lack of consistency. So he was missing workouts, he wasn't eating as properly as he should be. That led to inconsistent results. Again, he saw maybe a little bit of results, but just not what he was looking for. And then that led to inconsistent motivation. Like sometimes he woke up and said like, let's crush it, like a lot of guys do. But then other days he'd be like, almost like, oh, fuck this, like this, I don't want to do this. So if you address time management, here's what's going to happen. You're going to be more consistent because obviously you're going to hit your workouts and you're going to eat more properly. Because of that, you're going to get better results, of course. And because of that, you're going to have more increased motivation instead of those kind of peaks and those valleys. Now, the $1 million question, right? How do we fix time management? Comes down to two main things that I've really pinpointed. Number one, I've talked about this many times, but you have to have a deep reason why. So why do you want to lose your gut? Think deep, and that reason should almost want to make you cry. So think as deep as you can, whether it's like to be more attractive for your partner, whether it's because you want to live till you're 70 or 80 years old, whether it's getting rid of like pre-diabetes, whatever it is, think of a deep reason why you want to do it and write it down. The second thing in terms of time management that you can do is you want to plan your week. Now, I'm going to get more into this later in the video, but let's say you're working out 4 times per week. What I want you to do is I want you to write the days you're working out and the times you're working out. Because way too often, guys go into the day and they kind of say like, maybe I'll work out, maybe I won't. When you do that, you're just leaving it up to chance, right? It's like if you go to your job, but you're not going to go to a job and say like, maybe I'll work today. No, like you're going to work the 5 days a week or whatever it is because you got to provide for your family. You got to provide for yourself. It's the same thing when it comes to working out. If you can think of it that way and make it non-negotiable and have it planned out, I promise you, it's going to make it so much easier. Now, this gets us to point number 2. All right, the second thing you need to do is you have to replace the snacks you love with better but similar alternatives. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you're a big chip guy, and I'll give you some real examples here in just 1 minute, but let's say you're a big chip guy. Not to say you can't lose fat without chips, but we want to find an alternative similar to chips that have lower calories, and obviously you want it to mimic the chip kind of taste or flavor, right? So it's more of like a salty snack. So you want to try to transition to like a saltier snack that's lower calorie. And I'm going to list 4 options for you right now, 2 for salt and also 2 for more of a sweet tooth. So let's say you do like, I got my laptop here, I got them written down, so bear with me if I'm checking the calories. I just want to make sure I don't mess it up. But let's say you love tortilla chips. So on average for those, you're about 150 calories for about 10 chips. And that's without salsa, without any like sort of dipping sauces. If you can change it to rice cakes, you have 70 calories for 9 of these. So right there, you're cutting the calories basically over half. So that's one example you can do. A second example you can do is, let's say you love popcorn drenched in butter. Who doesn't? Well, actually, I don't, to be honest. I know I'm a weirdo. So that's about 100 to 130 calories per cup of that popcorn drenched in butter. Simple change you can make. You can still have popcorn, but have it with just sea salt instead. And for 1 cup of that, it's 30 calories. So again, right there, you're saving about 100 calories just like that. And this adds up like crazy. Example number 3 you can do. Let's say you love like a Boston cream donut from Krispy Kreme. Pretty damn good, right? So on average, those are about 300, 350 calories. What you can do is replace it with like a chocolate pudding, which has 100 to 120 calories. So again, you're saving hundreds of calories just like that. And the last example I'll give you, let's say you like a brownie. This is like a small one, so 50 grams, small square. It's about 200 calories with no frosting at all. You could switch it to half a cup of Greek yogurt with a little bit of honey on top and you get 110 calories from that, and you actually get more protein as well. So simple change like that. It's not about cutting these foods out completely. Like you can still have them for sure, but if you can find better alternatives that match the flavor, that's gonna be the best bet for you because it's gonna satisfy your craving. Now, if you want the full list, I'll put in the comments below. You can grab it. I got about 6 examples for salt and 6 examples for sweet. So make sure to grab that in the pinned comments below. But now that you know that, and we got our time management, we switch to better healthy options in terms of snacks. Now it's going to lead us to point number 3. All right, the third thing you need to do is you have to learn how to track your food, at least temporarily. Now, here's another real life example for you. I remember Matt, he came to me, like he was probably around like 240, maybe 245. And he told me he was working out pretty regularly. He was eating fairly well, but no matter what he did, he just couldn't lose his gut. So the next question I asked him is like, are you tracking your food? And he said, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not sure how to do that. And then once we started learning how to track, so I taught him how to track a little bit, we did it for 2 to 4 weeks. All of a sudden after the 4 weeks, his felt just melted off. So like 6 to 10 pounds, I think it was like 8 exactly, just like that in 1 month. And this is after struggling for a long period of time. Now, you don't have to track forever because it's a pain in the ass. Like, I don't know about you. I don't want to live on MyFitnessPal. It's not enjoyable. But it is a good base knowledge to have because you know how many calories are in what. It's kind of like learning how to swim. It's a pretty damn important, good skill to have, or learning how to drive, same example. You want to have those things, even though you don't necessarily have to do it like every single day. Obviously, you probably have to drive more than you have to swim, but hope you get my point that it's a very good foundational, skill to have, and you'll know how many calories are in what. If you do that and you start tracking regularly, I promise you the fat's going to drop off. And if you're not sure how to track, just comment track below and I'll send you 4 videos to take you step by step on exactly how to do that. Okay, the 4th thing you need to do is you have to have quick, simple meal prep, or you have to have a plan. So what do I mean by that? Now, you don't have to live like a bodybuilder. And this is what I don't recommend doing because some coaches really like to teach, meal prep all your meals for the full week and have chicken, rice, broccoli in containers. That's not what I recommend unless you're trying to get down to like 5% body fat. What I recommend doing, and I'll teach you what I do for meal prep. It's so simple and it's a nice little hybrid. But if you don't want to do this, I'll teach you another way you can do it as well. But what I do and what I find works great for meal prep is I typically just cook for 2 days or 1 day ahead. So for example, if it's Sunday, I'll cook for Sunday and Monday. If it's Tuesday, I'll cook for Tuesday, Wednesday. If it's Thursday, I'll cook for Thursday and Friday. And it's just super simple. Like if I'm making chicken on lunch on Sunday, I'll just put another breast on. If I'm cooking like fish for dinner on on Sunday, I'll put another one on for the Monday. And that I'll have obviously the containers and I'll just kind of reheat the next day. But it's also a bit of a hybrid because I don't have like 10 meals in containers. I'm not spending my full Sunday cooking. And at the same time, you get to eat fresh food and just not live out a container 24/7, which really isn't appealing in my opinion. So that's one way I do it. And I find it works great because it's a good little hybrid. But let's say you hate the thought of meal prepping, and that's not what you want to do altogether. Another method you can do is just simply have a plan when you get home. So what you don't want to do is get home from work and be like, oh, what's for dinner tonight? Believe me, that's not going to end well. You have Uber Eats on your phone. You might see some more tempting options in the fridge. So if you aren't going to meal prep, at least have a plan what you're going to be eating when you get home from work. So if it's like Monday night and you're about to go to bed, have a plan for what you're eating on Tuesday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just don't wing it what I'm trying to say. So either do the meal prep method I taught you, or just have a plan every single day, because if you don't, that's where guys get in trouble. That's where Uber Eats takes a pounding, and that's where we struggle to lose the gut. So number 4, quicker, simple meal prep, or make sure you have that plan. Okay, the 5th thing you need to do is you have to learn to eat right, opposed to just eating healthy. Now, maybe thinking, what do I mean by that? I remember Justin, like he was doing pretty good, but he was stuck at a certain point, and he was like, Rich, I'm eating healthy, but no matter what I do, I just can't lose that fat. And then I asked him, like, oh, okay, you're eating healthy, but what are you eating? And a lot of the foods he listed were a little bit higher calorie and no protein. So I'm talking like peanut butter, avocados. Don't be wrong, still like salads and fruits and good stuff like that. But the main thing missing there was we're guessing on calories, and we really didn't have enough protein in our diet. And the problem when people say eating healthy is it's not really quantified. right? Because eating healthy for every single person means something different. It's like maybe for you, your thing is like chicken, broccoli, and rice every meal. Maybe you may be thinking like it's just a lot of like fruits and just like no bad foods. Like that's eating healthy. So like only whole foods. So every single person has like a different definition of eating healthy. But the problem with that is it's all just guesswork. Now, what is eating right? Eating right is dialing in two main things. That's all it is. Two main things. Number one, your calories, which we talked about how to track food. That's why it's very important. And number two is protein. I don't care about carbs. I don't care about fats. I don't care about, foods that are higher in calories. If no food, I should say, if the foods fit your calories and you hit your protein target, nothing is off limits. And that's the difference between eating right opposed to eating healthy. Eating healthy is more just guessing. Eating right, you actually have set systems. And once you dial this in, I promise you, it makes losing fat so much easier to do. Okay, the sixth thing that you absolutely need to do is you have to learn how to bounce back from a bad week. Now, I've coached men for over 10 years and I have hundreds of people into our program. And I can tell you this, every single guy is going to have a bad week. It's going to happen. Like it happens to me, happens to every single person. But the ones who succeed and ultimately, get the results in the long term, they know how to bounce back from a tough week. The ones who don't succeed and let's say have a hard time keeping the weight off, they let one bad week dictate their move the next week. And it starts to have that negative compound effect and that really big snowball effect in the wrong direction. Now, think of it like this and think of like a baseball average. A baseball average, right? If you hit 300 over the course of a year, that's a good average. But how you get to 300, it doesn't really make a difference, right? Like every single player in baseball is going to have a bad week. Like no one's hitting 300 consistently every single year. Sometimes, you might hit like 200 a week. Could be like 320 1 week. Point being is, if you have a bad week in baseball, it's not the end of the world. Where it becomes an issue in baseball, if you have like a bad month or two, because that's going to derail your average, right? It's the exact same thing when it comes to fitness. If you have a bad week, we're guys, we like to drink our beer, we like to have our wings and whatnot. It's going to happen those bad weeks. You just got to learn to bounce back from it, opposed to let it compound to a negative effect. And the way to really make sure you bounce back from it, I'm not going to get too in depth because I talked about this in point number one, is you want to have that deep reason, again, why you're trying to lose your gut. If you have that deep reason why, I promise you it's going to keep you motivated all year round. So really think of that. If you have a bad few days, bad week, don't beat yourself up. It's going to happen to every single person. Just get right back on track the next week and basically as soon as you can. Number 7, ideally you want to have 4 45-minute strength workouts per week, plus you want to focus on your step count. Now you may be thinking like, why, we're 10 minutes in this video, why we've talked about nothing when it comes to workout base. Now I have so many videos on that. I'll link one at the end that you can basically check out. So make sure to watch the full video and I'll link the end screen. But yes, most guys, when it comes to losing fat, we really focus on cardio, which is really not what we want. And they're almost shocked when they kind of talk to me and they say, you don't have to worry about doing cardio. Everyone's like, what do you mean? Like cardio is the best for fat loss? Weightlifting is the best for building muscle? No. So what you want to do basically in a fat loss phase is you want to protect your muscle at all costs. And by doing that, you strength train and you focus on protein. Not to say cardio is the devil. Like if you enjoy doing it, you can definitely do your own thing. Like I'm not going to judge you on that. And I always tell people that as well. If you want to do your own cardio, you can just add it in. It's not going to hurt for sure. But what you want to focus on more importantly is having that calorie deficit with nutrition. And again, you just want to focus on make sure you're protecting your muscle in the gym. And this is where most guys really mess it up. We focus on weight loss, like just lose as much weight as we can, but we don't focus on fat loss. Fat loss is basically keeping our muscle as we drop our fat. Weight loss is losing fat, yes, but also losing muscle. So shift your mindset, cardio to working out 4 times per week ideally, focus on your step count. It's a nice, easy way to get steps and improve your calories out without wrecking your body. And just make sure you focus on that. If you do want more info in terms of the workouts, I'll link it again at the end of the video. But we got our final point right now, so let's jump into it. Okay, before we get to one of the most important points, let's do a very quick summary because there was a lot. Number 1, time management. Number 2, you want to replace the snacks you love with better alternatives. And if you want that, just grab them in the comments below. Many more options for you to see. Number 3, you want to learn, to track your food. Number 4, you want to have quick, simple meal prep. or you want to learn just to have that plan. Number 5, you want to focus on eating right, not just eating healthy. Number 6, you got to learn how to bounce back from that tough week. Number 7, the 4 strength workouts per week, ideally, and focusing on step count, not strep. And the last point, any guesses? One of the most important things that is often overlooked, it's going to be accountability. And this is where most guys really mess it up. We try to do it by ourselves because, let's be honest, we're a little bit stubborn, maybe a little bit egotistic, and we just feel we want to do it by ourselves without any help whatsoever. Now, when I mean accountability, it could be any single thing. It could be like doing it with a partner. It could be doing it with a friend. It could be having a friend to check in with. It could be having a coach. Like whatever it is, though, as a guy, believe me, I can tell you, having some sort of accountability is an absolute game changer. Reason being is, if you mess up by yourself, like it doesn't matter that much, right? You can live with yourself, like, okay, I screwed up. But if you're letting someone else down, to go on with it, then it makes it a little bit more challenging because you don't want to let a friend, a coach, a partner down, whatever it may be. So that's why if you can just get your accountability partner or whoever it is, and you have that same plan and that same path they're going on together, I promise you, it's going to make it so much easier to actually lose your gut and keep it off for life. Now, remember, I talked about a lot about workouts. So if you do want to watch a workout video, I'll link at the end screen right now. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe if you do find this helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.